Welcome back to the Creepy Files. Today we're covering SuicideMouse.avi. This is a creepypasta known to be the godfather of the lost episode genre. This was suggested by He Told You. If you have something you want covered, whether it be an ARG, creepypasta, movie, short story, game, or any other type of media, leave it in the comments or you can tweet at me at @TheMrGeeky. You can also join my official Discord, link in the description, to send me suggestions as well. SuicideMouse.avi is a supposedly digital copy of an unreleased Mickey Mouse cartoon made by Walt Disney. Originally, it was going to be included in a DVD set of a complete series of Mickey cartoons, but it appeared too uninteresting to be added at first. It was simply minutes and minutes of a loop of Mickey Mouse walking down the sidewalk looking slightly upset. The audio to accompany it was some crude piano music that eventually ended. Someone at Disney wanted it digitized even if it wasn't going to be sold. It was a Walt original after all. However, when they digitized it, they realized that it was actually longer than they had originally thought. Continuing to watch it, the animation distorts. The sidewalk begins moving in impossible directions, and a quiet murmur turns to a blood-curdling scream as Mickey's face turns from a grimace to a grin. The screaming abruptly stops as Mickey's end credit face appears on the screen while a broken music box plays. After this point, no one knows what happens next. The person who watched it, who was also taking notes on what happened, killed themselves as soon as they left the viewing room, and there aren't any notes about the last part. The last thing that the viewer said before offing himself was, "Real suffering is not known." The only other thing known is that the last frame of the animation shows text on the screen that reads, in Russian, "The sights of hell bring its viewers back in." Apparently, somewhere on the internet, the digitized version is still out there. Okay, so I'm sure we've both got the same questions. Why was the animation made, and just what was it that made the man who watched it kill himself? Let's take it one question at a time. First, why was it made? Well, according to the story, it was a Walt original. It was made by Walt Disney himself. So we know the culprit, Walt Disney, but what's the motive? Why would he create that? Well, what if it wasn't intentional? We know Walt Disney in real life was a complete creative genius. He always wanted to improve ways to make the magic of Disney seem real. Could it be that while experimenting with something he shouldn't have, he created something evil? In the context of our other Disney-centric stories, like Abandoned by Disney or The Tape from Treasure Island, maybe Disney tried something that went over their heads. It took on a mind of its own. Think about it. The cartoon distorts and changes almost like a living being. The description almost reminds me of those AI, randomly generated learning machine paintings. Okay, let's say Disney did accidentally create an almost sentient cartoon. What could it be that makes the viewer kill himself? Well, it makes it a lot harder when you realize that it could be anything. If the cartoon changes and morphs, it could take any form. At first, I'd think a Pennywise-style entity. It takes the shape of whatever would make you personally kill yourself. But that seems like a cop-out and doesn't really make a lot of sense. So let's think about the two sayings we know. The man says real suffering is not known. And we see the text, "The sights of hell bring its viewers back in." Let's unpack the last one first. Human beings are naturally morbidly curious. We like things that are scary or disturbing. It gives us catharsis and relief to release the stress of something bad happening to us without actually being in danger. That's the reason we like horror, and even things like this show where we cover scary or disturbing topics. Maybe this sentient tape had a certain thought process almost built into it. Disney wanted to create something that would draw its viewers in. The animation took an approach no one expected. It created the most morbid and disturbing thing it could. So while we don't know exactly what is shown, whatever it is purposefully made to be the most horrific thing that can be animated, while also being addicting to watch. That's why it's so dangerous. You can't look away. So to take the first sentence, real suffering is not known, that may be true. It isn't real suffering. It's fictional. It's an animation. Yet somehow that makes it worse. What the tape created was so horrific, any real suffering is drowned out. Replaced by something so horrific and addicting, there's no way to escape it, but there's also no way it could be real. So if you ever find SuicideMouse.avi, maybe think twice before watching it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Creepy Files. I really enjoyed this one, and I know you guys really dig the Disney-themed content. Let me know what creepypasta, ARG, short story, web series, movie, game, or other piece of horror media you'd like me to cover in the comments below, or just your thoughts on this episode in the comments. The best comment will be pinned. You can also suggest them through my Twitter or my official Discord, link in the description. See you all next time.
Who else can they add?